Greetings and good Sunday evening. Hopefully I'll get this posted tonight. Normally I like to do my read, react, and respond videos since I've been getting a lot of traction on my channel lately as far as comments go. So Andra, I apologize in advance. I'm not going to get around to reading, reacting, and responding to your comments, or anybody else for that matter. Andra, I think you're the only one. That being said, I wanted to take the opportunity to put out some original content. With the recent events of Joe Biden dropping out, I can't exactly say I'm surprised. I believe the man's health has been in decline for at least greater than 40 years. I think he was rather unintelligible during his first campaign against Trump, which he subsequently won. I still think there was something amiss or a foul during that election cycle, but it is what it is. I think it directly represents where we're at as a country, where we're not voting for the reasons we should. We're voting either for personalities or more directly against personalities. So in 2020, I think more people voted against Trump than they did for Biden, which meant they vote for Biden by extension. But I don't think many people that did vote for him were like, fuck yeah, that is the man. Pardon my language in advance. You know, that is my candidate. Listen to Bashubadaba. Listen to I don't think that many people were like, yes, 100%. I just think more people were like, you know, Trump's bad, Orange Man bad, my neighbor said he's bad, an influencer said he was bad, somebody said he was bad, so therefore I got to vote against him. I'm noticing the same trend. Either people I'm friends with on Facebook that are like, oh, blue, 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 you got to bleed blue, go blue, 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 blue. Or celebrities on various outlets like Instagram, oh, blue, 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 blue. And it's like, why? Why? Because I'll be completely honest. I'm not a card-carrying Republican. I'm not in love with the Republican Party. However, like everybody else, I probably look at things in two equal lenses. You've got two dogs. They're both going to shit in your yard. Which mess would you rather clean up? And I think me and my fellow Americans find ourselves in two unique positions. I think one party's the Chihuahua and the other party's the St. Bernard. I'd much rather vote for the Chihuahua. And then everybody else who is opposite of me thinks differently. They think their party is the Chihuahua and the other party is the St. Bernard. So they're going to vote for this pile of shit versus this bigger pile of shit. And I think that's bad. I think we need neutral parties, different parties, new parties. One particular celebrity who I admire, Zachary Levi, is like, look, I don't like either one of those. I don't want to vote for either pile of shit. I'm going to vote for a completely different pile of shit. He's supporting Robert Kennedy Jr. I think his politics suck. He's independent. I admire that. I admire him for that. But I think when it comes down to it, his overall policies suck. So that's a completely different pile of shit. And I'm tired of voting for a pile of shit. I really am. Do I think Trump can be polarizing? Do I think Trump can put some people off? Yes, but at this point, we're so far gone that all we see is this, that, or the other. Oh, he's red, he's Republican, whatever, therefore I can't. Fuck all if celebrities should be telling us who to vote for. Fuck off if celebrities should think that their opinion matters when they live in a completely world than we do, when their lives are completely different than ours. I mean, you're a celebrity. Hello, you have a different life experience than we do. All right? Maybe we're affected by some of the same things, in which case we should all have similar thoughts. Like, I can't stand paying damn near $4 a fucking gallon for gas. All right? I want cheaper gas. That seems reasonable, because if I'm not getting paid more to compensate for paying more for gas, then I want cheaper gas. I want cheaper lumber and cheaper goods overall. If my wages aren't going up to match the cost of inflation, then I want things to become cheaper and more reasonably priced and easier to, more easily purchasable because they cost the appropriate amount of money, not this over. I mean, for fuck's sakes, we went to Firehouse Subs the other day, spent $15 on a ridiculously sized meal. $15 fucking dollars. Last night we went down to Wilmington, had a great fucking time in Wilmington. Went to a brewery, bought 2 beers. Both beers were $7.50 a pint. $7.50 a pint. Fuck off. Industry standard is $5, and that's highway robbery when you make it for 52 cents. You can make the average beer for about 52 cents a pint. That doesn't include taxes, of course. When it's all said and done, I think after North Carolina excise taxes, federal government taxes, I think a pint of beer is below $2 again, is about $2 a pint. somewhere in that ballpark, not to include for inflation. But I digress. You know, that's where I'm at right now. And I'm so fucking sick and tired of this that I'm not telling anybody how to vote. I'll openly tell you what I like and don't like. I'll openly make fun of the Democratic Party, and I'll be very open. I think the Democratic Party should have been disbanded at the conclusion of the Civil War. However, I understand how absurd that suggestion is in the first place, because by that you're assuming that by abolishing the Democratic Party, you're abolishing the people who believe in the Democratic Party's principles, the people who were bigots, the people who were racist, the people that wanted Jim Crow, the people that didn't want women to vote, the people that wanted segregation, all these different things. And that doesn't mean by extension the North was, you know, a model of purity, a model of, you know, non-racial tension and whatnot. I mean, people segregate no matter what. People collectively find groups. People, you know, birds of a feather flock together. I don't mean to babble. I'm so sick of it. You know, at the end of the day, you got to do what you think is right. All right. Me personally, I can't stand the Democratic Party because in my personal view of the world, the Democratic Party is the only party to this day that peddles in hate, that peddles in civil division, that peddles in stoking the flames. When you have the Democratic Party and the liberal media trying to tell people to turn down the temperature, you first. My last video, I talked about it. You first. When you call half of the country bigots, racist, Nazis, white supremacists, when you say MAGA Republicans are the greatest threat to democracy, the greatest threat to America, when you say Donald Trump supporters are deplorables, when you say all this negative stuff, what the fuck do you expect to happen? What results, what actions do you think you're so holier than thou that you reserve the right to say these things? You reserve the right to put down Caucasians, you reserve the right to put down heterosexual males and there's no consequence? You reserve the right to support hate groups like Antifa and hate groups like BLM and there's no consequences? You call riots peaceful demonstrations and out lie and support hypocrisy on a daily basis and don't hide or shun from it. There used to be a thing as discretion. No. We're not hypocrites. Look over here. Let us distract you. You don't even care anymore. And there's people that are so blinded, like, no, there's no hypocrisy. I don't see anything here. You know, it's like, I don't see anything. Jesus Christ, wake up. Nobody's doing us any favors. Nobody. But I'll tell you what. Here's the thing. Before I continue to rant incessantly and probably make no sense and sound like Kamala Harris, who, by the way, is equally as dumb as a bag of hammers. We knew then what we didn't know now, and tomorrow is yesterday's news, and today we're better equipped to know what we didn't know yesterday. So tomorrow's tomorrow, and that's the future. Really? And people are going to vote for her because she has a vagina? Again, this is the same party that says there are no genders. Gender is fluid. Gender is non-binary. Binary construct is something we made up. So therefore, you can't vote for her because she has a vagina, because you don't believe in vaginas. You don't believe in feminism. You don't believe in females to begin with. So you can't vote for her on that premises. You can't support her on that premises. You can't market her on that premises because you don't believe in the binary structure of male and female. Unless I'm mistaken, which I don't think I am because I've been listening to it for like the last 6, 7, 8 years, for crying out loud. We have boys competing in girls' sports and dominating, and it's like, oh, so courageous. The fuck it is. He's a mediocre athlete, but then he competes against girls and dominates. No, that's bullshit. Sorry, you don't like it? Fucking tune the fuck out. Change channels. Go somewhere else. Piss off. All right? Because I hate to tell you this, but it's only women that are being adversely affected. You don't see women entering into boys' spaces and dominating and destroying. You just don't. But I digress. As always, I want to hear from you. If you're charged up, if you're angry, if you want to communicate, if you want your voice to be heard, by all means. My channel's not that big. All right? Under normal circumstances, I will read, react, and respond to your comments. I don't mind the discord because if nothing else, even if we disagree, we have to start talking to each other because we cannot resort to these echo chambers and draw lines in the sand. If you believe in the non-binary construct, if you believe in this, talk to me. I can still recognize you as a human being. I can still recognize that you exist. I can disagree. It's one of the rights I fought for. All right, if you're not familiar, when we swear an oath of enlistment, one of the things we swear is to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. We're preserving the Constitution of the United States. You say what you want to say, all right? But I want to challenge you with this. Don't try to change my mind. You can express your thoughts, you can express your opinions, we can have discord, we can try to understand each other with no guarantee that we will. We have to recognize that as different people, we're not obligated to concur. We're not obligated to agree. We're not obligated to understand why the other person thinks that way. But we got to talk. We got to try and communicate. We got to try and connect, because I don't believe we should be red and blue, lines in the sand. You know, your team versus my team. You're my enemy. We shouldn't be enemies. We used to have this civil discourse back in the day where when you go to somebody's house and you have dinner or whatever, you don't talk about religion or politics because they're very divisive topics that cause division. But one thing I will say is this before I end this. I have noticed that amongst the younger generation, they lack the social and civil skills that we were at least given. Whether we were given it by our family, whether we were given it by society, whether we were given it by television and movies, we had some basic social skills. Excuse me, good morning, pardon me, good afternoon, good evening, recognizing someone and addressing them, holding the door open for a woman, holding the door open for somebody else, recognizing, hey, the door opens this way, therefore anybody coming this way has the right of way. People getting off the elevator have the right of way. All right? People that are turning into a parking area or a parking lot from a major highway, a major roadway, have the right of way to get the fuck out so that they can clear the roadway. You don't have the right to obstruct it. U-turns. You don't have the right to make a U-turn just because you've got a green arrow. You're supposed to yield. My point being is I've noticed that the younger generation doesn't have the same social and civil skills we did. And I guess because we're the ones that gave birth to them, it's entirely our fault, because maybe we disagreed, maybe we didn't understand, maybe we didn't like what was browbeaten into our heads, but there was a purpose behind it. Now you're looking at an entire generation of young adults that don't have the same skill sets as us. And I'm not saying it's everybody, but I'm saying in mass, statistically, pie chart, you name it, the vast majority of young adults don't have the same social and civil skills we did, and that's why social politics are in the zeitgeist. That's why it's such a popular topic. That's why, it is what it is, where we're openly being divisive about things and we're drawing these lines in the sand. And we got to stop. We just got to stop. You think your way, I think my way. All right, you're Catholic, I'm Protestant. You're Jewish, I'm Muslim, whatever. I mean, I really think that there's power brokers with money and whatnot that are trying to stoke the flames, and they're doing it by using the left side of politics to stoke division, because I think honestly they probably want the left to lose. Because if you ask me, for my estimation, if things break down into physicality, the left loses. The left will lose. While you're too busy arguing over bathrooms, while you're too busy arguing over DEI, while you're too busy arguing over privilege, while you can't get your shit together, we will. It's just that simple. La purga. That's what's going to happen. I'd hate to see that. I don't want to see that. So let's prevent it. Let's talk. All right? Let's try to cross boundary lines. So if you leave a comment, preferably like with a question or something that I can respond to, I promise I'll read, react, and respond. If you're just one of those haters that's hiding behind a keyboard who has gone through life without experiencing being punched in the face because you've never had consequences for your actions, fuck off. Don't need you here. But if you want to get involved in the conversation, by all means, leave a comment, and I promise I'll read, react, and respond. I'm not so big that I can't get around to it. And until then, be safe out there. Stay awesome. Try to survive the third decade of the 21st century, and we'll see you later.